On day 1, I spawned in as a baby Na'vi from the movie Avatar. I was surrounded by a bunch of other Na'vi, but I was the only baby. Why am I a baby? Are you my parents? Just then, Colonel Quaritch showed up with a bunch of soldiers.
Consider this a warning. In 100 days, I'm going to attack and destroy the Tree of Souls. Without the Tree of Souls, all the Na'vi will disappear.
Everyone around me was angry, and they attacked. It was no use though. We were no match against the Colonel and his men.
Quick, Zozo, take this.
My parents threw me a ceremonial bow and some arrows and told me to hurry and hide deeper in the cave. No, wait! My parents joined the fight, but they too were quickly defeated. I had no choice but to run away and hide in the cave. I have 100 days to stop the army from destroying the tree, but how can a baby like me stop an entire army? On day 2, I ran deeper into the cave. I had to be careful because I only had 4 hearts. Just then, I heard footsteps behind me. Someone was coming. I hurried and hid. A few military guys came running up and stopped in the tunnel.
Did you see where that little baby Na'vi went? Colonel is going to make us do 200 push-ups if we don't find him.
You mean that baby?
Uh-oh, they saw me. I hurried and pulled out my bow, trying to hold them off. It's not working. I can't die already. Suddenly, something came running up to me. It was a hexapede.
On my back. Hurry. What's your name, little guy?
It's Zozo. What about you?
Nitiri. Pleased to meet you.
On day 3, Nitiri and I had reached an area deep in the woods. The space was filled with all kinds of creatures. Wow, I was wondering where you guys went to hide from the soldiers. Nitiri then brought me to the wise old leader of the hexapedes.
And what brings such a small Na'vi to a place such as this?
I told him about the soldiers and how they had ambushed my colony. I also told him that I had less than 100 days to save the Tree of Souls.
If they destroy the Tree of Souls, all life on our planet will disappear. We must protect the tree at all costs. You aren't planning on taking the whole army down alone, are you?
They took out my whole tribe, so it's just me.
You're going to need all the help you can get. I'm too old to fight, but please take these supplies to aid you on your journey.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to stop them yet, but I will do everything I can.
We believe in you, but be careful. Colonel Quaritch will not hesitate to destroy anyone who stands in his way.
I nodded and prepared to leave. Before I could get too far, Nitiri stopped me.
This battle affects us all. I'm strong and can help you in the fight.
I would love to have your help. Let's do this. On days 4 to 5, I decided it was time to start preparing myself for the fight. I went around punching trees and got enough tools to make myself a crafting table. With the crafting table completed, I then made myself a wooden pick. Let's get stony. Using my wooden pick, I mined a bunch of cobblestone, then used the cobblestone to craft a full set of stone tools. After I finished crafting, I realized it was starting to get late. I better start building my base. I can't risk getting attacked at night. I quickly got to work, building myself a base. I had found a giant tree and decided to build a base inside of it. I built rooms for both Nitiri and me to live in. It's just a simple base, but it should keep us safe for now. By the time I finished building, it had gotten late. That's when some spiders attacked out of nowhere. Oh no, I spoke too soon. I swung my sword furiously and was able to take them all out. Just then, I felt a burst of energy and gained 10 hearts. Oh yeah, I'm even stronger. Before I went to bed, I decided to set up some torches. No more random mob attacks for me. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and decided to check the village from earlier for survivors. As I looked around, I saw that the soldiers had totally trashed the place. Then I saw a girl running from a soldier. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? The soldier heard me yelling and stopped running after the girl. Then he turned and ran toward me. I had gotten stronger, so I wasn't afraid. I used all of my weapons and abilities, but he was still really strong. It was an intense battle, and we ended up on a balcony. I swung as hard as I could and knocked him over the edge. As the soldier disappeared, I saw he dropped something. The girl he was chasing ran over and picked it up. Find anything good?
It looks like a map to a prison. Thanks for taking that guy out, by the way. What's your name?
My name's Zozo. What about you?
Nitiri.
Nice to meet you. What were you doing out here anyway?
When these soldiers attacked the village, I escaped during the fighting. I came back to try and find my parents.
It looks pretty empty here, but maybe the prison on that map is where they're being held.
I'll try anything. Let's go.
On days 9 to 10, Nitiri and I made our way toward the prison. We carefully followed the map and soon saw a small prison in the distance. That must be it, but it looks like there's no guards.
Let's get closer and find out.
Just then, a grenade was tossed in front of us, blinding us. When we came to, a tough-looking soldier jumped out and attacked. They must have seen us coming. I tried my best to fight him off, but he was too strong. This was a fight I wasn't going to win. Nitiri and I had no choice but to jump down the tree and run away. Once we had gotten far enough away, we paused to talk. It looks like we're not strong enough.
This all feels so helpless.
Don't worry, we can figure it out. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. On days 11 to 12, Nitiri and I arrived back at the base. I hurried and built her a room to stay in.
Thanks for looking out for me, Zozo.
No problem. I wanted to ask you though, what do you know about the Colonel and these humans?
I doubt I know much more than you, but when our village was under attack, I did overhear the Colonel saying he will rule over our planet once we're all wiped out.
We can't let that happen. I was feeling angry about the Colonel, so I decided to look for more materials. I soon found some iron and coal. Back at the base, I loaded up some furnaces and started smelting. Then I crafted some iron tools, along with some iron boots and leggings. Nitiri then came over to me and let me know he was feeling a little hungry, so I went out to try and find some food. After some walking, I found some carrots. Oh yes, he'll love these! I returned back to the base and dropped off the carrots to Nitiri, then headed outside to start a carrot farm. Now we'll never run out of food. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to get stronger, so I asked Nitiri if she could help.
The strongest warriors would train by hunting manticore, but only the adults. True warriors never harm the babies.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I left the base and soon found myself in a tundra. The manticore should be close by. That's when I noticed some manticore feathers on the ground. Aha! I must be getting close. I looked a little further when I saw two manticores up ahead, a baby and its mom. I started to sneak toward the adult when suddenly a couple military guys jumped out and took out the baby. Those cowards! They then tried to fight the mom, who quickly took out one of the soldiers. It wasn't enough though, and the other soldier took her down. I rushed in. What do you think you're doing?
The Colonel has given us orders to destroy all the animals. We can't have you Na'vi trying to get stronger now, can we?
That's assuming I'm not strong enough already. I charged at the soldier, angry at their disrespect. The soldier thought he was a tough guy, but in a few moments, I showed him up and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a manticore heart. I picked it up and took it with me back to the base. Back home, I went over to Nitiri and told her what happened. Then I showed her the manticore heart.
That is what our warriors are after when they fight the manticores. Eat it.
Eat it? If you say so. I scarfed down the manticore heart, and to my surprise, I gained 6 more hearts. Now that's some powerful stuff. On days 16 to 19, I headed out to do some more exploring. As I wandered, I soon found an ogre village. As I watched the ogres living peacefully in their home, I suddenly remembered my own life, a time where I lived peacefully with my own parents. Those evil humans want to break up all these wonderful families. I won't let that happen. Speaking of which, a group of soldiers had just shown up, and they were attacking the village. The ogres all ran into their homes afraid. It was up to me to help them. Not today, humans! I charged in, using all the weapons I had at my disposal. These soldiers were tough, but with my training and upgrades, I was getting tough too. After a bit, I had won. A dad and his baby ogre came out of their house. He thanked me for defending the village, then offered me a jar to say thank you. Is this a jar of farts? I'll find a good way to put this to good use. Thanks. On days 20 to 22, I started heading back to my base. I was thinking about the jar of farts when I was attacked by a crimson mosquito. How do you like this? I unleashed the jar of farts, which took him out with ease. Well, that didn't stink. Later, I saw some iron ore, which I mined up. Back at the base, I smelted the ore into ingots, then crafted them into a chestplate and sword. With my new equipment, I returned to the prison. Maybe I'd have better luck this time. As I arrived back at the prison, I saw another stun grenade pop out. It was the guard. He fired his weapon at me, but I was able to sneak up behind him and knock him out of the tree. This guy was tough and managed to hit me with a poison dagger, which really hurt. Even though he had grenades and weapons, I was able to get him down to half a heart. Before I could finish him off though, he started to laugh. What's so funny?
Whoever you're looking for here is already dead.
I suddenly saw a vision of Nitiri's parents being interrogated in the prison. They refused to tell the Colonel anything about the Tree of Souls.
Then you will die. Goodbye.
Back in the present, the soldier tried to attack me again. He was weak though, and I finished him off. Inside the prison, I saw it was empty, apart from a necklace memento. I'll have to take this to Nitiri. Maybe it can help. On days 23 to 26, I arrived back at the base with some bad news for Nitiri. I soon found her. Hey Nitiri, I managed to get into the prison, but I'm afraid it's not what we were hoping for.
My parents are gone, aren't they?
I'm afraid so.
I thought that might be the case, but was hoping maybe I'd be wrong.
If it helps, I did find this. I gave her the memento. I could tell it really helped her feel better.
Thank you, Zozo. But hey, I have something to show you.
Nitiri brought me outside and showed me that she had collected some chickens. This was perfect, as I was starting to run low on feathers for arrows. I got right to work building them a chicken coop, then bringing them into it. I then went out to get more supplies. I found more iron, as well as some diamonds. I made an iron helmet to complete my armor set, then crafted a diamond pickaxe. To finish it all off, I got to work improving the base. I wanted to make it a little nicer for everyone. When I finished, I realized it was missing something. I think it just needs to be a little bit more avatar-y. On days 27 to 31, I headed out to find the materials I needed. On the way, I ran into a couple chocobos. Hey, are you guys okay?
We're looking for our favorite food, nightshade berries. These soldiers kicked us out of our land, so we don't know where to find it.
I don't know where to look, but I'll keep an eye out. I invited them back to my base in the meantime, to which they happily agreed. I soon came across the soul lights I was looking for and started mining. Suddenly, a flock of pateras started to attack me. Hey, I'm not bothering you. Leave me alone. I managed to fend the pateras off, and then I finished mining up the soul lights. Back at the base, I used the soul lights to finish the decorations. It was looking really great. I then built the chocobos their own rooms to stay in. They were really happy about that. Then Nitiri came running up to me.
The soldiers are attacking my herd. Come quickly.
I jumped on his back and we rode off to help. On days 32 to 35, we hurried back to the herd. As we arrived, I could see the place was filled with soldiers. We've got to help them. I rushed in, knocking out as many soldiers as I could. The hex beads had really hurt them, so I was able to finish several of them off. That's when I saw a soldier fighting the elder. Hey, get away from him! The soldier hit the elder, a hit he surely couldn't survive. No! I rushed in and took out all of the remaining soldiers. I approached the elder, but it was too late.
Zozo, stay strong and keep fighting. And please, keep looking after my son.
And before I could respond, he died. Nitiri, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your dad. All I could think about was the moment my parents died. My heart hurt for Nitiri.
It's okay, Zozo. Looks like we're both orphans now.
We still have each other. You can stick with me for as long as you want. On days 36 to 39, I decided to spend some time out alone. It had been a rough few days. That's when I heard someone call out to me.
Hey, you! Wait!
What's going on?
My house has been taken over by a boar! Everyone is too scared to help me.
Okay, sure. I'll help. Tell me where to go. I headed off in the direction the goblin had pointed me. I soon saw the cave he described, and when I went inside, the boar attacked me. Hey, don't be so mean! The boar was tough, but I finally managed to beat them back. I was about to deliver the final blow when a voice cried out.
Wait! Please don't hurt my mom!
I turned and saw a baby boar. I asked them why they were in someone else's house, but before they could answer, the goblin from earlier showed up.
What are you waiting for? Take them out!
Wait, something isn't right about this. Just then, the goblin went to attack the boar. But before he could do any real damage, I stepped in and took him out.
Thank you! That goblin was trying to kick us out of our home.
Wait, that's what he said you did to him.
He was lying so you'd come after us.
That's when I noticed he had dropped a note. It was from the Colonel. It read, "Destroy as many animals as you can, and you will be rewarded greatly. He's trying to turn everyone against each other. We've got to hurry and stop him." On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at the base. I felt bad for everyone who had lost a friend or family, so I decided to improve the base. I went around and made each room a little nicer. Now that's looking great.
I'm really worried about the herd. My father had really given them a home.
Then tell them all to come live here. Nitiri went to tell the other animals, and I got ready, preparing a place for them to stay. We were all going to be one big happy group, and I couldn't wait for everyone to arrive. Just as I finished up, the chocobos from earlier came over to chat. They told me they were now big fans of carrots, but unfortunately they were going to need their favorite food. Otherwise, they couldn't survive. Okay, don't worry guys, I'll find it. They explained what it was and where I could find it, then I hurried off. On days 44 to 49, I arrived in the location that the chocobos had told me about. As I was exploring, I nearly ran into the Colonel.
Aha! I knew I would find you here.
What do you want?
You keep attacking my men and saving all the animals. Stop getting in my way.
I'll never stop, not until you're defeated.
Good luck with that.
The Colonel waved his arm, and a super soldier dropped from a Samson aircraft in front of me. The Colonel chuckled and left us to fight. This was going to be my hardest fight yet. The super soldier was strong, bigger than normal humans, and had attacks I had never seen before. He shot rockets from a tube he was carrying on his shoulder. What lab did this guy crawl out of? I did my best to hit him with my bow, but it didn't seem to do much damage. The arrows weren't working. Looks like it might be time to try something new. On days 50 to 53, I kept fighting against the super soldier. It was time to stop fighting from afar and get up close and personal. Take this! I charged in and started swinging my sword. With me being this close, his rockets were completely useless. Now that he wasn't hitting me as hard, it was only a matter of time. At long last, I delivered the final blow. Looks like I'll be the one fighting another day. As I looked around, I saw the colonel had been watching the battle.
I'll be back for you, Zozo. Mark my words.
I charged at the colonel, but before I could get a hit in, he threw a stun grenade right in front of my feet. When the smoke cleared, the colonel was gone. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but it's still not enough. I have to get stronger. On days 54 to 57, I remembered I was supposed to be finding the Chocobo's food. At long last, I saw what I was looking for. As I got closer though, I was suddenly attacked by 2 hammerhead titanotheres. Oh man, I must be on their turf. The 2 hammerheads were incredibly strong, working together to hit me with their attacks. It wasn't enough though, and I managed to take one out. Uh-oh, looks like the other one is really mad now. The remaining hammerhead charged at me, no longer trying to be strategic. It wasn't much longer, and I had taken them out as well. As it disappeared, I noticed it had dropped poisonous skin. I bet I could use this to make poison arrows. Oh, this will really help me out. I then collected the nightshade berries and headed back to my base. Back at the base, I met up with the Chocobos and gave them the nightshade berries. They jumped for joy and told me that they could now access their special power. Special power? You should have mentioned this before. The Chocobos explained that they can tap into the planet's life force and communicate with those who have passed on, but only for short amounts of time. So, my parents. The Chocobos nodded and then put their head down. There was a glow, and suddenly I could see my parents in front of me. Dad? Mom?
It's us, Zozo. We're so proud of you and what you're doing. Keep fighting. We know you can defeat the Colonel.
There was another bright light, and they disappeared. Thank you for doing that for me. Now let's win this fight. On days 58 to 62, I got to work planting some of the nightshade berries so the Chocobos would have a constant supply. As I finished, Nitiri came up to me.
Thanks for getting these planted. I've been enjoying taking care of the other plants, so I'll make sure these are good as well.
I thanked her, then left to try and go find some more diamonds. As I went deeper and deeper into the mines, I soon found a whole bunch of diamonds. Before I could start mining though, I was attacked out of nowhere. What are you doing down here, you creep? I then mined up all the diamonds and went back to my base. With my diamonds, I made myself a couple of pieces of armor. Then I headed out to the farm and made some improvements, so Nitiri could feel happy while she worked on the farm. On days 63 to 66, one of the Chocobos came running over to me. They told me they had spoken to a great warrior who had died long ago. This warrior told him about a powerful weapon that could defeat the Colonel. That could be the very thing we need to win. The Chocobos told me that it was in a different biome and told me where to go. I set off right away, and I soon reached the vortex. As I searched, I soon saw a temple, and I noticed there was a leonopteryx flying around overhead. As long as he doesn't bug me, I won't bug him. I approached the temple and headed inside. This had to be where the weapon was kept. Suddenly, a Thanator jumped out. I took my sword, ready to fight. Then the Thanator spoke.
Wait, don't attack.
I thought you were going to attack me.
Of course not. I'm super nice. This temple is my home, but some other not so nice mobs have kicked me out.
Oh man, well I'm looking for some kind of ancient weapon here. Do you know anything about it?
It's possible. The temple is filled with all kinds of old relics. Clear the place, and you can take whatever you want.
Deal. On days 67 to 70, I followed the Thanator deeper into the temple. As we walked, I noticed several pieces of art and books that looked like they were centuries old. Eventually, we stopped outside a room, and he turned to me.
They're in there. Viper wolves, and lots of them.
I'll take care of it. You hang tight. I ran into the next room, and sure enough, there were a bunch of viper wolves. They immediately attacked, and I did my best to fight them off. My ticket to beating the Colonel could be hiding here. I had to win. Time to say goodbye. I kept swinging, and at long last, the viper wolves were all defeated. I heard a noise in the corner and saw there were some smaller Thanators hiding nearby.
Thank you, Zozo. This is my family.
They all thanked me, and I took off to look for the weapon the ancient warrior had mentioned. I looked and looked in every nook and cranny, but there was nothing. Shoot, the weapon must not be here anymore. I met back up with the Thanator and invited him and his family to live at my base, but he said they were happy here. I thanked him for letting me look, and then left to go back to my base. On days 71 to 74, I left the temple as the leonopteryx circled in the sky above. I paused for a moment. Did you know this isn't my first adventure? You can watch more of my videos after this one is over. Just search for Zozo, Z-O-Z-O. I was getting closer to my base when I came across a group of soldiers. More of these guys, huh? Not for long. I charged in and started taking them out. The less pesky soldiers there were, the safer the land would be. Soon, I had taken them all out. That's when I noticed one of them had dropped a note. It said,
To all soldiers, there is a Na'vi named Zozo who needs to be defeated immediately. I, Colonel Quaritch, am working on a special weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. It will be done at the end of the 100 days, but this Zozo needs to be dealt with immediately. All soldiers will be on double shifts until he is destroyed.
It looks like I'm making a dent, but what is this weapon he's working on? I have to find a powerful weapon of my own, and fast. On days 75 to 78, I arrived back at my base and went to talk to the Chocobos. I went to the temple and searched everywhere, but I didn't see it anywhere. The Chocobo was really confused, as the spirits they talk to are rarely wrong. But unfortunately, they didn't have any other ideas. They promised to try and figure it out. I decided that in the meantime, I would improve the base. It was starting to look really good now. I could tell everyone was really happy, and I hoped it could always be like that. When I had finished making my upgrades, Nitiri came over to talk to me.
Zozo, I have some great news.
What is it?
I have been experimenting with the plants and developed a superfood. I want you to be the first to try it.
I picked it up and ate it down. It was delicious. Suddenly, I felt energy flow through me, and I grew even bigger, with even more hearts. Whoa, this is awesome! On days 79 to 84, I decided to test out my strength. I soon arrived in a new place and spotted the perfect test subjects. How do you like me now? I jumped in and managed to take them out in just a few hits. Now that's what I call power. Just then, I spotted someone watching me from afar. It was another Na'vi. He came over to me.
You're pretty strong.
Thanks. I can take on anyone.
You could be stronger though.
Oh, what makes you think so?
Well, I'm stronger than you. Check it out.
The Na'vi hit me, and he was right. He was strong. Ouch! Okay, you didn't have to hit me. I believed you. What's your secret?
Come, I'll show you.
The Na'vi then put me through a training program. He had a lot of good advice, and I was able to learn so many new things in a short amount of time. Once we were done training, the warrior tossed me an upgraded bow. Thanks, I'm feeling even stronger already. By the way, how did you get so strong?
It was my mission to ride a leonopteryx, but I've never been successful. Now I don't even know where to find one.
I didn't know you could ride those. I actually saw one not too long ago. I could show him to you.
No, I'm much too old now, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Say, why don't you come live at my base with me?
No thanks. The wilderness is where I belong.
I thanked him for his help, then turned to go back to my base. On days 85 to 89, I returned to the base and saw it had been attacked. Buildings were broken and no one was around. Oh no, what happened? Where is everyone? I ran around the base, looking to see if I could find anyone. I soon found Nitiri. He was injured and hiding in one of the ruined buildings. What happened here?
The soldiers, they came out of nowhere. They took Nitiri.
Oh no, I have to save her. Where did they go? Are you okay?
Yes, I'll live. Quick, they only left an hour ago. They went that way.
I hurried in the direction Nitiri had mentioned, looking for any signs of the soldiers. Then I heard someone calling for help. Nitiri! I ran toward the sound, but saw it wasn't Nitiri. It was a dire horse, who was clearly injured. Before I could say anything, it spoke.
Are you looking for that girl?
Yes, have you seen her?
I tried to stop them, but they knocked me out of their way. They're moving quickly, faster than you can run. But there is another way.
What's that?
Nearby is a special plant. Blue orchids grow on top of that tree right over there. Harvest one of the leaves and rub it on my wound. Then I can carry you to them in no time.
Okay, show me the way. He told me where to go, and I ran off. I soon saw the tree. It was extremely tall, and the leaves I needed were at the very top. Let's get jumping. I jumped from branch to branch, doing my best not to fall. At long last, I reached the top and grabbed the leaves I needed. Sometime later, I was back by the dire horse. I applied the leaves, and he immediately hopped up.
Hop on, there's still time.
On days 90 to 94, the dire horse and I could see the soldiers appear in the distance. There was no time to waste. As we got closer, I could see Nitiri. She was being guarded by a few guards, as well as another super soldier. But this super soldier looked even stronger than the first one. I jumped off the dire horse and told him to get a safe distance away. I faced him. Let her go!
Come to save your friend, huh? You'll never win. Get this Na'vi punk out of my sight.
The normal soldiers charged at me, but I knocked them out with just a few hits.
Huh, you're stronger than you look. but not stronger than me.
The super soldier charged at me, unleashing a special attack. I didn't see it coming, and it did a lot of damage. This was going to be tough. You'll never take our land, our people! I took out my bow and landed a perfect shot, which seemed to disable his special attack. Now the fight was really on.
You'll pay for that.
On days 95 to 97, our battle raged on. He was madder than ever, now that he didn't have an advantage. Both of our hearts were dropping, and it was only a matter of time until one of us fell. Suddenly, he stepped back. One more hit, and I would win.
You think beating me changes anything? I've done my job already.
What is that supposed to mean?
The Colonel has already completed his weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. We took the girl to take you out of the game. You're too late.
No! I jumped toward him and destroyed him for good. Then I noticed he dropped something. With this, I can do his same special attack. I quickly freed Nitiri. Hurry back to the base using the dire horse. I'm not strong enough to defeat the Colonel yet, but I think I know what I need to do. Nitiri nodded and ran off to find the dire horse and get back to the base. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm crazy enough to try. On day 98, I rushed back to the temple. The ancient warrior said this was the location of the weapon, but he never said it was inside of the temple. I looked up at the leonopteryx. If I can tame it, I'll finally be able to be the ultimate warrior. The leonopteryx kept flying around, ignoring me completely. I thought about it for a moment, then pulled out my bow. I aimed and fired. The arrow was a direct hit. The big bird let out a screech and headed right at me. Oh boy, I may have really stepped in it this time. The bird swooped down to hit me. I jumped to the side and tried to get on its back. I was close, but missed. Shoot, I've got to keep trying. The bird was interested in attacking me now, and I did my best to avoid it. Sometimes it hit me, but most of the time I was able to land on its back. Finally, after several attempts, it worked. Got you. The leonopteryx was mad at first, flying around like crazy, but soon it recognized it had lost, and soon it was smooth sailing. We bonded through the flight and soon landed back on the ground. I hopped off as the bird flew away. Then suddenly, I felt the power flow through me, and I leveled up into my biggest, final form. At long last, I'm ready to take this Colonel down. On day 99, I returned back to the village where it all began. The Tree of Souls was nearby. I passed through the tunnels I had run through nearly 100 days ago. I had grown so much since then. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and I could see my parents standing before me. I was so close to the Tree of Souls, it made it possible for them to show themselves to me. Mom, Dad.
Great job, Zozo. We've been watching your journey and are so proud of everything you've accomplished.
Thank you. I just wish I could have saved you too.
Don't worry about us, son. Everyone on the planet is counting on you, but we know you can stop the Colonel and save our way of life.
I will do my best.
We will be watching and supporting you. Do not lose hope.
There was another flash of light, and they disappeared. I soon emerged from the tunnel into a large cavern. I could see the final tunnel to the Tree of Souls, but an army of super soldiers were blocking the path. Oh no, how could I possibly get past all of them?
You won't be alone.
I turned and saw Nitiri, along with all of the friends I had made along the way.
We will distract them. You go for the Colonel.
I don't deserve friends as great as you.
We don't deserve a friend as great as you.
I smiled and thanked them for being my new family. It was going to be a tough fight, but it was for our home. Everyone ready? Attack! My friends charged at the super soldiers, who were shocked to see that they were the ones being overpowered. As they fought, I saw a chance to run through the tunnel. I took it and headed in. Hopefully my friends could stay alive long enough for me to take the Colonel down. On day 100, I entered another large cavern. In the center of it was the Tree of Souls. It was still standing, but the Colonel was in a mech suit, shooting it with energy beams. Colonel, it's over. I'm here to stop you for good. You'll pay for the lives you've taken.
Stop me. Can't you see you're too late? This weapon can't be stopped, especially by a weakling like you.
You'll have to destroy me first.
I've spent 100 days developing this weapon. That will be easy.
The Colonel then turned and fired his beam at me. It landed near me, causing an explosion. The explosion knocked me to the side, causing a lot of damage. I hurried and got out my bow, firing off arrows as fast as I could. I got some hits in, but it looked like it wasn't doing much damage.
Arrows? Really? Do you see what you're up against? Give up now, and I'll let you stay alive as my pet.
I'll never stop fighting! He shot off a beam again, this time hitting me. It nearly took all of my hearts. I ran and hid behind some rocks so that I could hurry and heal up.
See what I mean? You have no chance, cowering like a small child, because that's what you are.
Just then, I saw a wood sprite land near me. A wood sprite? It's a pure seed from the Tree of Souls. I could tell it wanted something with me.
Accept me.
I closed my eyes, and the wood sprite flew into me. I felt myself get stronger. Suddenly, more and more wood sprites started to appear and start flying into me. The power of generations began flowing through me. I grew even bigger and now had 100 hearts. I stepped out to face the Colonel again.
What? How?
You failed to understand the world around you, and so now you'll fail to defeat me. The Colonel yelled and started firing his energy beams at me. They still did some damage, but I barely felt a thing. I charged at him, sword in hand. I jumped into the air, slamming my sword down on top of him. His suit exploded, and he was destroyed. The world was safe once more. I celebrated with my friends. If anyone else tried to hurt us again, we would be ready.